Good morning and welcome back to Irish Chippy channel. Today I'm going to show you how I made these two amas, the amas for the trimaran. Ama is a Polynesian word for like an outrigger, but it's more of a little canoe itself in itself. These are going to be sealed units with bulkheads in them. I made them all up in 24 hours about that, or not, maybe 28 hours, between 24 and 28 hours. To do everything here up to this stage. There is a lot of work in them. It's like making two small boats, and so I'm going to show you in this video the whole process of making these. And if you like the video, I'd much appreciate if you subscribe to our channel here. So here's how we made these two amas. Now we're going to start making the amas. Now we already made a big boat, so the amas should be easy. The amas are 2.2 meters long. So this is our one of our amas there. We have our reference point. It says do this one by eye, but no, sorry, this one by eye, and there's a slope back in here. So I have that upside down like this. So I'm going to make up one of them. We'll do our fair curve here. It's not a very steep curve except down at the front of the boat. So we will make it up and we will make it good. And when we have it made good, then we will plane it up. We will fair it, and then we will use that as a template because they all come out of the one sheet. So, for instance, this is the one we'll cut first, then we'll sandwich this one and this one. And the other one is coming up here on this end, and then on the very end here is a middle section and a middle section. So we're going to draw our line just like before. I'll get Rex over here to help me. I have my nails in. We draw on the inside. The outside of the nail is the reference point. I measured them all up. These are 300 centers, not 400, 300, 300. And the last one was 150 and 150. And it's coming around in a big curve like that. You're on your own. This is the way you would do it. You'd have to do it because if you don't have an extra pair of hands. But I just wanted to do it a little bit different than the last time, because the last time we were showing Rex holding as we were going along. Now you will check that these are all on their line. They are. So we just draw our line down along like this. Very easy. And we'll cut it out with the jigsaw, of course. Bit too awkward to put on the bandsaw, a big sheet like this. It's not worth it. We'll cut away from the line a little bit, and then I will fair it up with the block plane. And then you look at that. Does that look like what you have? And reasonably it does. The line, I don't know if you can see it there. So that's my curve anyway. It looks like the one in this. After we smoothed it off, then I start marking the other three sides, and best off having it. So what we will do now is we will cut the other three pieces. We'll cut them and plane them up as well. We'll put them all together to plane them up then, and then we will start cutting the little small pieces. We need to go onto another sheet for that. Small pieces left over from the other one. So we're just going to try just a triangular pieces. They're like dwarfs inside in the boat. Okay, so that came out okay. What we done was we put them all together then on the good one, and we put the good one in the middle part of it, and we made sure they're all level on the bottom as well, rounded on the top. So yeah, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so difficult. We've done it with a combination of the two planes. I actually gave it a bit of a sanding there as well, but later you're going to have to round off the corners according to the plans here. You're to round off the corners when they're joining in together. seemingly that will stop air bubbles getting into when you're joining it with the fiberglass. So what I'm going to do, next thing I'll do is we will mark which one is which one. In other words, we'll say which is port side and which is starboard side of the panel itself as well. So it'll probably be star and star port or whatever like that. Then I'm going to cut these dwarts here. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 in each boat. I said to stitch this one with nylon, so I don't know. It says do a double stitch, whatever that is. I better Google it. Okay, so we've cut all the, as he calls, bulkhead pieces or dwarts. We've cut the 4 of them for each, so that's 8 pieces altogether. They're all different lengths and sizes. Don't worry about that. But we want them now. I want to mark where they are going, and I will be drawing them square then. Our next job after that then is to round the chine. We're going to round the outside of this over, round over it. You can't do it with a round over bit. I was actually trying there, and no, there's not enough clearance in it. So I'll just finish marking these. I'll stick it together to give you an idea what it's going to look like. So we'll be screwing these together, and I think we pour some epoxy in, I think he says as well. So I can probably put that over on its edge like that, or I can do it the other way around. I'll do it upside down. And number 1 goes in there, like that. Now it's starting to take shape, you see. But it's under lots of pressure. Or something like that, they said. And this will just give you an idea of what's going to happen. It's going to look like this. It's going to look, it's nice looking shape. This is going to be, we're going to round over these edges. That's our next job. We will do it with a combination of the plane and the sander. So that's what our next job is. Well, I'll mark the rest of these, and then I'll get back to you when we are ready for drilling them and have to find out how to do a double stitch. Okay, so we rounded off the corners. I put nylon stitch, well actually Rex put them in, a couple of them along nylon. He's better at tying than me. We can put more in later after we put the bulkheads in. So I put 1 screw up here in the end, and I let it go right through. I'm going to take that out after the first fiberglass. There's 2 coats of fiberglass. And now next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the dwarts right in here, and we're going to put them in with a hot glue gun, because they're only in temporary. We're going to take them out later on, but we're going to put them in here and put a little bit of glue on them. I don't like these guns, and that's not a good one, and but it's an easy way around doing it, so that the boat takes its shape while you are doing the fiberglass, and then we will pop them over again. Put them in one at a time. Make sure you have the right number and the position it's going. So we will push that down in here like this, along the line we have drawn earlier, with the line on each side. The first one is going to be the most difficult one. I done a dry fit on this a few minutes ago. And Rex, you lift it up there, yeah? And it's opening a bit here, but we're going to put more stitching in it in a while, but just maybe this end. But I need this to be held in so it won't pop out. I have made sure I had a stitch where this is, underneath. And I have the line there and the line there. Now I'm going to get this messy gun, and I'm going to put a dab, if it works for me. Now we kind of let that one cool before we do the next one, I think. I mean, set. Maybe not. This one is very tight, so it should be okay. The others are going to be loose. I don't see any reason why I need to put any of the glue in the inner part of it there. Don't get excited. Turn off your glue gun. Rex is going to hold that there for a minute while that's drying. Might have came in a little bit too tight with that screw. Might loosen it out 1/2 turn. So what it says in this that we pour the glue in here when we're doing the inside. That's after the fiberglass. It will need only one more, I think, looking down along. We'll need 2 more ties. One here and one down at the back there. So we will do the other. We'll do the rest of them now. I'll do the other boat. Okay, so I'm going to let them dry. They're there for a while now. I'll let them dry, and I'm going to give them a bit of a sanding before I put on the second coat because I don't have tape. And in the meantime, I'm going to put them when they're half dry because it's late afternoon now, and I'm going to put them standing up at about 45 degrees, and I'm going to pour some epoxy so that it will set in here. So I let it pour. That's what he actually says. So, because you won't get your finger in there to do the fillet all along. So the epoxy will make a fillet, and it will strengthen the front of the boat, or should I say the stem. In the meantime, while you're waiting, you can make up some stands, right? I make up stands from scrap wood there because when you're turning the boat over after the second one. So I made the same angle on the same profile as one on bulkhead number 4 and the first one on bulkhead number 1. And number 1 is around here somewhere, is it? There? Yeah, you know where it is. It's there. Okay, so that fits on perfect. So when we're turning the boat over, we'll be standing on this when we're doing the fillets on the inside, because you won't have anything to do with, unless you want to put the 2 on. I want to take out them that nylon. It's sticking out a little bit, and if I pour the epoxy into these now, this is going to be so strong that I can take out the screw in the morning. It's possible you can I'll paint the whole of the outside as well with epoxy. I'll give it all a coat tomorrow, right? And then we will turn the boat over. When it's nearly dry, we'll turn the boat over and put them in today. With the second coat of fiberglass. Now, the first one was done yesterday, so it's strong enough for us to be able to turn the boat over. I used some paper here. It was about 4 hours. It's touch dry, but it will be sticky. Now I'm cutting out for the gunwales, or the gunnels, or the gunwales, whatever you want to call them. And it's 15 by 15, so we'll be cutting 15 by 15, and then they will be at an angle, and then we will be planing them off later. We're going to try and do the fillet on the bottom by just pouring it in like we done on the front here, and I'm going to try anyway. So we're kind of going live here. We have to remove all the. Make sure you remove all the glue. Now this one is tight one. The one at the front is tight, right? So we'll take out these and have them ready here for us to go in. We're going to glue them in as well. And the bottom one might need to be tightened in a little bit. We can put a little wedge inside in this. So here goes. There's a slight slope to the back of the boat. I can probably get a lollipop stick in here, maybe not. So I use a lot there. That is coming in nice, yeah. I need to go in the very end. You can see where you didn't go yesterday. Yeah, I need to mix up more. I'm after using 60 on this, 60 milliliters, and I didn't go the whole way. But I'm only going to do this once. And then I am going to, we're going to mix up another 60 anyway. So that's making its own fillet. Can you see it there on the second camera here? Yeah. I'm going to keep what's left on this to glue these in as I'm going along. I'm just going to glue the edges of these for now. And then stick them in here like this. And then tomorrow when they are dry, then we will put a fillet. We will put a fillet on these now. So that's what we're going to do now. We left the boat on one side and we let it take its own level. Now what you have to do is you'll have to turn the boat back the other way so that you can get the flow down into this. So we need to get a little bit more in there. But we're not going to do that now. We're after making up the gunwales or the gunwales, whichever you want to call them. And they're 15 millimeter by 15, and then they will be plain down here. This will be plain flat here because it'll be flat. I also, a few hours ago, I put the fillets in here, so these are really, really, really strong here now. So what we're going to do is, these are only dry fitters. We're going to take them out, glue them, clamp them. We're going to put a few screws in them, not so many screws in them. Take into consideration if you're putting a screw in here, make sure it's not going to come up where you're going to be planing off later on. I'm also after making up the gussets. Now the gussets will be joined to the deck, right? And instead of making these straight on the bottom like in Richard's drawing, I made the angle. So well, that won't be there. That one will be there. I made the angle piece here. You can see it here. And they vary from the front one to the back one, and the width varies, right? Because it's 180 millimeters there, and it's about 200 millimeters there. So obviously the measurements on both sides will be different. But I left them the same on one side. So we will screw these up as well. There's 4 of them, two for each side, large one and thing. Make sure you put them in the right way. The deck is screwed into the bottom of them, and then the deck is screwed. We will have a reinforcing piece going across there. So that's what we're going to do now, is just glue this in, just like we glue the inner gunwale in the main boat. These are nearly dry here. Yeah, they're dry already now. The boat is perfectly level as far as I can see. So what we're going to do is just mix up some glue with some epoxy glue with some cambasol, and remember, don't cut out the notch. We cut out the notch for the gunwale on these 3. Don't cut it out in the last one. I reminded myself yesterday not to do it, and what did I do? I went along and I cut it out. So I had to make 2 new ones for the back. Okay, so we clamped all these up yesterday afternoon. I'm going to take off all the clamps now. I didn't put any screws in them. I don't think they needed screws, and if the screws, it will be screwed down, a few screws going down, but we put 2 coats of epoxy before we glued them together. So in other words, I dried it. Glued up the gussets, and the 4 gussets, so we'll have them, and we put 2 screws in each of them. So we're going to remove the clamps now, and then I'm going to plane down this so that it's level for the piece sitting on the top, and then we will do the calculation on where these go on it. I know the distance apart, but they have to be dead in the center. And this piece in the middle, you have to work it out for yourself. Okay, so we got to go 3 hours in there today, and we got lots done. These are ready. We're going to paint the inside now with epoxy inside the boat. Not paint, we're going to epoxy the inside. We have dry fitted these. We have aligned these as well. We brought this piece out. This is screwed to the bottom and epoxied. We brought this outside to fit onto the 2 ACAs. So the 2 AMAs are ready for. We're also going to just put in. Hold on 1 minute. We're also going to mark everything on it. We're going to put in these supports here. We're going to glue them in first. Then we're going... Now, if you're wondering why we have these on a slope, I poured more epoxy down in here, right? So that it'll go down into the stem for flow. Just for flow, purely for flow. And we will epoxy the inside of this and the inside, everything inside the boat. We will sandwich these in first, then paint everything with epoxy. And then tomorrow, before we put these on, we will epoxy it all again inside tomorrow. While we can then cover it in with the deck, and then it'll be finished. Temporarily screwed it down because I'm going to glue it down later on. But I'm going to fair the edges first. So I'm going to fair the edges with plain. What that means is we can finish it today. If I say I left this rough now, and then I'll have to. You can't use your tools when the glue is oozing out. So what we'll do is we'll fair it then with block plane and sander, and we'll round off the edge of it, and not with the router now. Don't round off the edge because it's not level going down, so the bearing won't hit. So we'll just level this off, round it off. I'm after glassing them all up now. What I done differently, this was left open, this part from here, from the bulkhead out. I decided I will fill that in. It took 15 minutes to make shape up something like this and taper it in. I didn't add any framing in it. I tapered it on the top and on the bottom and just put it in with epoxy. I just put one layer of fiberglass on this. There's no need for any more. With diagonal, I cut it myself diagonally. So thank you very much for watching this video now, and if you like what you see in this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, and thank you again for watching.